What do you do in 2012? You've got David Lee Roth back in Van Halen, WolfGang Van Halen on the bass. You go back in the studio and you do a brand new studio album. Well, somewhat brand new. Next on Heels and Quads.
Get all the people here tonight!
What's slow songs at all?
We're the new thing.
None of us are from California. That's how come we don't sound like the Eagles.
Habitué of Hollywood's Star Spark Sunset Strip. Hopping and bopping and popping with the best bet for the boss beat at the top of the pop smash gold. For those of you with the timely taste.
With Van Halen is we just finished our new album, and it's been in the making for quite a while here. We took most of the last year, 1983, to make 1984.
First of all, this is not the new Van Halen. This is the real Van Halen.
I mean, he can sing anything, low, high, in between. I mean, like a baby, come on.
We barely take each other into consideration.
The music is what honestly inspires the lyrics.
A couple singers.
Yeah, a couple one too.
Well, it certainly wasn't anything premeditated. It just kind of came.
Quit.
Yeah.
It has the whole story. It has everything that you need to tell a story, and it's over from the time when it starts to when it ends.
Yes, you can be spontaneous for 20 minutes. Those of you who've been married for longer periods of time know exactly what I mean.
Welcome back, Heels and Quads Media here on YouTube. I'm Tommy, and I'm back with another Van Halen ranking video. This video was actually recorded, well, the second half was recorded last week. The first half, I never hit the record button. So, you've waited long enough. Without further ado, number 7 on my Van Halen ranking list. From 2012, A Different Kind of Truth. At number 7, A Different Kind of Truth. Released February 7th, 2012. After the success of the reunion with Diamond Dave, the band goes into the studio to record a somewhat brand new studio album with producer and part-time Bon Jovi sideman John Shanks. Obviously, still sans Michael Anthony, WolfGang makes his one and only appearance on a Van Halen studio album. Splitting time between Henson Studios and 5150, 7 of the 13 songs are ideas that were never used, or at least parts were used on other songs but not fully used. Just a riff here and there. Some of the songs that were used are from basically what was a secret attempt at a Diamond Dave reunion in 2000. WolfGang was instrumental in not only the album, but the entire reunion. He, now in the studio, was earning his wings by helping in production. While personally I hear generally positive reviews from fans on this record and others online, most of the hate leans towards the single Tattoo, which was released January 10th, 2012, with an accompanying music video. She's the Woman was also released as a single, met with a better reaction by many fans as it had more of that classic Van Halen sound. While it's been removed from streaming services like Apple Music and Spotify due to the Diamond Dave not liking it factor, you can still find it. Hey Dave, give us a break. Least favorite track, Bullethead. I don't even mind it really. The music is fantastic, but I'll give the Dave haters this one. It's just kind of all over the place lyrically. Favorite song, Tattoo. I think it's a catchy earworm. I don't understand why people hate it. It's weird, but I had to look up what the hell a mousewife was. It's a housewife that spends a lot of time on the internet apparently, so now it makes sense. But regardless, if you dislike it, I think it's a catchy hook, and I catch myself singing it constantly. Honorable mention, Stay Frosty. As a huge fan of Ice Cream Man, it's nice to have a sequel finally to a classic Van Halen song. Also a term I would like to hear used more often than "Let's go!" There it was at number 7 from 2012, Van Halen, A Different Kind of Truth. Now I remember when this album was coming out, I was super excited. I just met my wife, or soon-to-be wife, December of 2011. Already excited for a Van Halen album coming out in February. Then in January, we got the single Tattoo, which I bought as soon as it hit iTunes, and we listened to it in the car. I was a fan of it. I don't think she was. I still think she's kind of iffy about Tattoo, but she has now become more appreciative of Van Halen, especially since I've been doing this, because I've been listening to Van Halen nonstop. I completed my vinyl collection of Van Halen actually just this past week, and I kind of wanted to wait. Other than this album, I still don't have this on vinyl, but right now it's hard to find. Again, it's not on digital, but I do have a copy of it. It's just not on vinyl. I remember just being really excited for it, and I know a lot of people hate Tattoo, like I've mentioned a couple of times already, but I've always liked the song since it came out. I thought it was super catchy. It's cool to have, you know, a newer Van Halen song with David Lee Roth, and I know it's not Michael Anthony, it's WolfGang, but it's, I mean, the genes are there, and we now we see what WolfGang's doing with Mammoth WVH, and you know, his career's taken off outside of his father's shadow. He plays his ass off. From everything that I've seen and read online and in forums, fan forums and stuff, man, he really had an instrumental part in this, and I personally want to thank WolfGang Van Halen for not only making the band with Dave happen again and allowing me to see, obviously, one of my favorite frontmen with, you know, a band that I grew up and still love, and love even more now doing this, because it's like doing this, you revisit things and you appreciate it more when you sit there and you're studying it. I'm studying it, and I want to try to get my list right, and I feel like I have. And this is kind of like, a lot of people think it's too high probably, but I think this is an honest rank, because if it were like just kind of like what I listen to a lot, I would probably actually place this higher, because I do listen to this album a lot, because even though it's kind of polished and not really the Van Halen I want, it's got a lot of earworms on it. And like I said, I walk around, I'm singing Tattoo, I'm singing She's the Woman, I'm singing Stay Frosty. So I think at 7 and the last of the Dave era, I think it's fair. And it's no knock on Wolfie or anything like that. And you know, it has nothing to do with Sammy and nothing to do with Van Halen 3. Although what I meant to say was, if it weren't for WolfGang and it weren't for this album, Van Halen 3 would be our last studio Van Halen album. So we kind of have to appreciate this a bit more. I feel like people should appreciate it more than they do. And I know over the last couple of years, I feel like, at least since Eddie passed, I feel like more people are kind of turned on to this record, which is a good thing. But anyway, so next up will be number 6, and then moving forward, it's all original lineup, classic Van Halen, OG from here. So tell your friends, tell your enemies. I'll see you next time. And of course, stay frosty.